what is the exponential era, which has me totally fascinated. I mean, what is the exponential era?
Well, I think we've defined it pretty well. Look, the exponential era, it comes from reading a lot of things. Because in the end, I would love to be a thought leader about where the world is heading, but in the end, I just love to follow. Investment funds, I think funds are the entities that dedicate the most resources to researching what's happening, where the world is going, and seeing it with metrics. And one of the funds that impressed me the most since 2020 was ARK Invest. I don't know if you know it, but ARK Invest is probably the most important fund in terms of research on exponential technologies. It's definitely number one. There are others like Cross Border, focused on liquidity, and Delphi Digital, which covers the crypto side. I also enjoy following them. And in the end, I started to see that it wasn't just about one technology. My first contact with an exponential technology was with crypto in 2017, but later I started looking into the funds. Talking about it, what about talking about robotics? And talking about Tesla's autonomous cars? And talking about how SpaceX had brought costs down to less than $100? Sending a kilogram into space and seeing how we had super advanced batteries that could last in a robot for more than 24 hours. I started to see that in medicine, we had, for example, the AI model AlphaFold that existed before. A doctor had to spend 6 years with a doctorate to discover the fold of a protein. Then we created AlphaFold from Gemini, Google, which deciphered the fold of 200 million proteins in a year, something that would have taken us centuries. So everything starts to converge, everything starts to accelerate. AI creates ChatGPT. It appears in 2022. And today we already have Cloud Code, which is absolutely crazy. It can work for 15 hours straight without errors. Everything is exponential, so we're at a moment where change is not linear. And if we imagine the world in 5 years, we can't just think, okay, it will be a bit more of what we've already experienced. No, it won't be 10 or 100 times more. So, this exponential era is both the gift and the curse we've been given, because it will be the best moment and the worst moment. It's that simple to think that banks won't keep printing money and making everyone poorer and making it harder and harder to buy a house. Is this going to continue? Thinking that AI won't replace hundreds of thousands of people is crazy. It's going to do it, it's going to do that. Just look at the agents, that's what's needed. Seeing how the cloudbot works is impressive. They're virtual employees, and we're just months, maybe years away. We're starting to see it. Now, a study from Anthropic came out, which looked at the impact on professions and showed the impact on finance, the impact on management, on business. Who else was in consulting? Let me think. Some in medicine were very high, which gives us a sign that in 1 or 4 years, many employees could be replaced. So, in this exponential era, we have a double reality, a wonderful future and an incredible present, in which everything grows and gets faster and better all the time. And the reality that this progress is going to impact us. And I think it's time, and this is the theory of the ring heroes. It's time for you to learn how to protect your money and invest. You learn about crypto to educate yourself in finance and investment to create your investment portfolio. Educate yourself in programming using AI. Train in trading by taking advantage of market volatility. Or learn about AI to transform your business. Be more productive. Know how to create agents, employees, and have them work for you instead of you. It's hard to believe, but you can meet with them in the morning, assign tasks, and the next day see they've worked 24 hours. This already exists, works, and isn't hard. So, this is the exponential era. It's this moment where everything is going to change.
Well, I think we have to focus on the positive side, right, Arnau? Which means, as you say, some professions are going to be replaced. That is, some will disappear. But this also gives us the opportunity. It's a time of change, a chance to retrain ourselves in other fields. I don't know if you are now, as an expert, could give us a prediction. Which professions? Right now, do you see any that will inevitably disappear because of AI? That's something people ask AI itself, right? I mean, which professions are going to disappear? I'm a journalist. Is my profession also at risk of disappearing? Which professions do you see? Clearly, with the massive implementation of AI, which started as something people just experimented with, now even a lot of older people use it in their daily lives. AI, I mean, its implementation is massive and its development is massive. So, which professions do you think could disappear for good? But as I said, this is also a moment of opportunity to learn with learning heroes. For example, without going too far and being able to retrain yourself in another profession.
I'm not saying it's catastrophic or happening now, but I think it will occur in the next few years. I think that any profession, even physical ones, like a laborer's, when the autonomous robot or the Optimus humanoid robot arrives, next year we'll have 1 million in production, 10 million the year after, and in 5 years it will be a product you can buy for your home. This exponential evolution will make everything likely to change. Everything physical, and especially those of us who work on a screen, who do something related to computers, who work with an application. Well, I'm very good at Excel, at programming, at a language, at Photoshop. That ability to manage a program, AI already has it. This is called computer use, which means the agent itself controls your computer and does what you do. Everything is likely to change quickly, faster than we expect. It may not happen this year, or maybe just begin. We're already seeing big companies doing it. So, Amazon has laid off 16,000 people. Jack Dorsey recently laid off 4,000. And some companies hide it more, some are more obvious. And Jack Dorsey said, no, no, it's because of AI. It's already happening at the highest technological levels and will quickly trickle down. So, that being said, I don't think it means everyone will be eliminated, but rather that one person will be able to do much more, as if they were 10 people at once. The role is going to evolve from operating, from doing things, to managing agents so they can do things, and above all, validating. So there will also be a lot of opportunities for people who validate, who have experience, who know what they're talking about, and who validate the work of AI. Because since AI creates infinite text, non-stop, someone has to review it, because it can make mistakes. So I think a lot of jobs will be lost. And even though employment will evolve, it won't evolve as fast as the rate at which we're going to lose them. So I think the idea of 10-20% unemployment could become real. It will be a chaotic time, as some governments may ban layoffs, but companies that don't cut jobs and are bought by foreign firms will lose competitiveness and may shut down. It will be very brutal, and I have no idea how it's going to develop, but what I do know is that all the current profiles make sense. When you master AI, whatever you do, you start doing it in a better, more efficient way. With agents, having knowledge that isn't difficult because you don't have to program, that you can teach others, that you can implement in your business, you can basically do what you do, but better. That temporary advantage we have now, I think it's very, very, very relevant. Because you say journalists, there will be, but maybe fewer, because the research you can do now with agents is infinite. You can practically stay up to date with everything, so you can achieve much more with fewer people. And incentives are incentives. If the company's incentive is to maximize profit to stay competitive, it's likely they'll do it. So, this is the uncertain future we're facing, where the only sure thing is to learn about AI, and that will give you an advantage. That's the most certain thing. From there, we'll gradually see how things change.
I don't know, Arnav. This is a legal information channel, so I'm going to bring it a bit to my field. Could there come a time when judges are also AI and you present a specific criminal case? With all the evidence provided and everything, the AI would be able to pass judgment? Because this might seem, as I said, like a science fiction issue, but we're getting closer and it's becoming more widespread. For example, as a journalist, we already have tools that correct our news, suggest headlines, and so on. I mean, it's being implemented at a dizzying speed. So, of course, at the judicial level, it's also going to have, I understand, a huge impact when it comes to searching for case law and rulings from similar cases. All of that is going to be in some way systematized.
I think it's inevitable because of the incentives, right? The judicial system is very slow. I've had to go through a process myself, and it's very frustrating. In general, wherever you go, in any country. So, I think there's a need for automation, higher levels of efficiency, especially in many cases that are very similar. Well, AI itself could analyze all of them and extract rulings. Like, look, this happened here, the same will happen here. I think it makes sense. Even so, it's a world, it's like a black box. As unbelievable as it may seem, nobody knows why it works. It's like the human brain. We give it information, it gets smarter each time, but we can't understand what's going on inside because inside it's like there are neurons. There are trillions of parameters, each with a number, and the combination of each adjustment, each number, each parameter ends up creating intelligence. It's like a file. I could have it on a flash drive. They're just numbers. It's like science fiction, but that's how it is. I give a lot of information to a digital brain. That digital brain adjusts the numbers. It keeps learning. And after a lot of learning, it turns out that this combination of numbers, when I ask it something, it answers me. Is it intelligent? So we don't fully understand how it works. Since it's a black box, we don't want a judge to rule on something without an explanation or for there to be discrimination. No, well, that person is allowed, well, because of their nationality, they're allowed to apply for a loan. One person, yes, another, no. Of course, since it's AI and it does it automatically, I think there will be a lot of reluctance, especially in more important cases. But the fact is that there will be AI and more, and that everything will be or will tend to be faster, for sure. Claiming an AI will be a judge will likely take longer, not due to what we say, but to prevent biases since we don't know its inner workings. Who do you trust, Checked or Claude? If they disagree, this might take a bit longer.
Thank you. And to wrap up, Arnau, I would like to, just as you have recommended apps to us, Carlos, you also recommend them for the average user, for any citizen. Which would you say are the most interesting AI applications? For example, since I have Twitter X, I use Grok a lot, but then, for example, some family members use ChatGPT, others use Gemini. I don't know which one you could recommend to us. In general terms, the ones that are most interesting for our daily lives.
If you want, we can start with the four models. There are four models that are the most relevant. We have Grok, which stands out because it's the most up to date in terms of news and the best in terms of finance. Because it's connected to X, which is the database, and it has a system that I don't remember exactly. But anyway, it updates every day with instant information, so it's always up to date. Then we have Gemini, which is probably the most complete because it has Nano Banana for images, VO3 for videos, so in general, Nano is the best model for images. I see, if it's not the best, it's in the top two, top three video models. And Gemini is one of the most powerful models, so it gives you a lot of versatility. And if you work with Google, with Drive, with Google Docs, with Google Sheets, I think it's the best option. Then we have ChatGPT, which I think is the most used, the most flexible. It's just very convenient to go to ChatGPT and ask it something. So I would say that for a basic user or for someone who wants AI just to ask things, for very basic use cases, ChatGPT is a very good option. But when we get to more sophisticated levels, strategy for a company, where your job involves a lot of decisions, a lot of information, cloud is the best cloud. It doesn't have images. The voice part doesn't work very well because they focus on one thing, and that's making their model the smartest. And honestly, no, there's no comparison. So it's the one I use the most. But as I said, for example, for images, I would go to Gemini for day to day use. Well, I go with ChatGPT because it has the best user experience, the voice experience, talking with the model. ChatGPT is the best. With Grok, I would use it more for searching for information, looking up current events, or comments from maybe a person, because it pulls everything from Twitter. These are models in terms of tools. Here's one example Notebook, LM. I could name more, but this is the undeniable one. Notebook LM is a tool created by Google, which uses the Gemini model, and it's perfect for studying. You can upload as much documentation as you want, or even YouTube videos, or an entire channel, 150 YouTube videos. It analyzes them and allows you to create quizzes, an interactive presentation, a PowerPoint, or an explanatory podcast. It's amazing, and it's a way I have to learn very quickly to absorb a lot of information in a short time. I think your channel is easily one of the most powerful for your audience.
It's Notebook LM.
So, what is Notebook LM? It's from Google, right? So, with Gemini, if you pay for the $20 a month Gemini option, which is Ultra AI, you also get access to Notebook LM. Just so you know, I pay for all of them, maybe because of my line of work. I like all of them. It depends on what you need them for, of course, but I'd say the most complete ones are Gemini and Cloud. When you're looking for intelligence, when you're a CEO and you want someone to help you think, really, Cloud is like that menu, right?
Arnau? Hola, Claude.
Yes, from Anthropic for programming too. And
Well, honestly, I've taken a lot of notes, Arnau, from everything you've told me. I think this is a really interesting interview. It's the present, it's the future. And I should also mention, Arnau, that you also offer courses at Learning Heroes related to AI, right? So besides cryptocurrencies, which is the one you're going to have soon, that free training, you also offer courses and training related to AI at Learning Heroes.
Absolutely. Now, the next session starts around May, more or less, and the spots fill up really fast because I think that's the one people are most interested in. Then on our website, you can find all the information. There, you can find each of the programs to understand what the methodology is, what each session covers, and what you will learn. In our case, what we focus on the most is agents. I think we were the first to, look, I like to say this because that's how it is. We were the first to teach about AI at the user level. Like, okay, how can a person use AI to be better? And the first to bet on agents when no one was talking about it. And now I think it's obvious. There are many people who focus on automation, right? Like creating flows in Make in 8N. And even though we see it as a good thing, I think it doesn't make that much sense. What's truly wonderful is learning how to communicate with the models, how to master them, that's for sure, but creating virtual employees. Imagine that every day you have like 10 agents. The one who does the research, and when they're researching, if they find a YouTube video they want to look into, they pass it to another agent. One person transcribes and sends it to the researcher, who analyzes it, then passes it to the orchestrator, who coordinates everything. You have the one who creates the content, so that when you research something, they create posts for you. It's like you have an army, you have to design them well. And how do they complement each other? But that's what we focus on. And well, we're not looking at that. In the company, we have departments or squads of agents. That's how the agents do it now, and it works very well. It takes a few weeks to adjust it so that it's what you're looking for, but when you get it right, it's wonderful.
Well, it's wonderful. Arnau, everything you've told us, really, thank you so much for visiting us. As I always say, that's it for now. See you next time. Precautionary measures with Miguel Angel Perez. You are released without restrictions. Arnau, thank you so much. I hope that later on we can have other conversations because honestly, I found this interview super useful and very interesting. And I think that everyone who has watched this interview will definitely get on board, if they haven't already, with everything related to cryptocurrencies and AI. To improve ourselves, it's no longer about the future, it's about improving our present economically and professionally. Really, thank you so much, Arnau. And of course, Learning Heroes will put all the information, as I mentioned before, both in the video description and in the pinned comment, so you can sign up for this free training. Thanks so much, Arnau, for joining us on Precautionary Measures with Miguel Angel Perez.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to us finding a way to continue so we can catch up because things move very fast and it will be a real pleasure for us. So thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much, Arnau. Big hug.